Let me introduce you to the greatest perfumer. Me. Hello there. And welcome to our little humble perfume store that I have here, filled with the greatest colognes, the greatest scents, the greatest perfumes that you have ever smelled. And you know why they're so great? Because they're made by me. My magical touch to these smells and scents, of course, is going to create the best colognes and perfumes that you've ever smelled. So I understand you are indeed here to get yourself paired with a new perfume, no doubt to smell as fantastic fantastic as I do. Of course, why wouldn't you want to smell like me, and of course look like me as well? Yes, well, when you're in a perfume store, then you tend to carry yourself a little bit differently, and things become a lot more relaxing, and once you find the appropriate smell and scent, things become a lot more, let's say, better in terms of making oneself feel better. I myself feel great all the time because I profess myself to be pretty much perfect in every single way. Well, that's the price you pay for being the perfect perfumer. So let us see if we can fix you up with a perfume and a cologne. Well, as you may know, that we make all of our scents in-house here. So we have a fine batch which I think I can sort you out with and test and make sure we can get the appropriate one for you and get you all sorted out. How does that sound there for you? Indeed, it sounds good. I'm pleased to hear. So, as you may not know the ways of perfume stores and profess yourself to be so knowledgeable with perfumes, such as I am, then it's pretty obvious that I should explain just the small fundamentals of trying an appropriate perfume to get you sorted with a smell and a scent as fine as mine. No doubt you smelled me when you entered the store. That's because I am wearing probably the best scent that you probably ever smelled, and I know this because it's on me and I smell it right now. Well, I must say, when you walked in here, to me it was pretty obvious that you are not well versed in the ways of selecting a fine perfume for yourself. So allow me to elaborate this little procedure for you to find your perfect perfume. So in order to select your right perfume, we must use some test pieces of paper. These pieces of paper, we spray the perfume on the paper, and then we wave the paper around a little bit. We let that paper move where it wants to go, and no doubt it probably want to find its way over to me, because, you know, everything tends to. And then once you have that cologne, just allow it to sit there for a little while. That perfume and cologne will want to do whatever it wants to do. Now, it can enhance you. All of my perfumes in here, of course, are made in-house because, you know, magical me and all that. But of course, there is a slight chance that that perfume might be a slight off fit for you. And when I say off fit, it's probably because the perfume might be perceived as a little bit too good for you. I mean, it is made by me, of course, so we're in high chances of something like that happening. If it is, we shall try and neutralize everything. We will neutralize your palate and we will find something new for you. And how we do this, I hear you ask? Something very effective and something which will neutralize your senses. And then we'll move on to another perfume. So before we begin, I'm just going to open this up and I'm going to just ask if you can take a little smell in there. So we have our coffee in here, and this coffee is going to help you just start afresh before we move on to the next cologne. Okay, so is that pretty clear to you? Good. So allow me to select you with a fine perfume to begin with. So this perfume is something which I noticed which would be a good fit for you as soon as you walked in here. I thought there's someone who wishes to smell as good as me, to have a little bit of an impact. This is a quite recognizable scent. It has tones of cinnamon and a bit of whiskey in there as well. It's very refreshing and makes it feel like you're perhaps standing at the top of a mountain, breathing in fresh air. And is that something which you think you might be interested in? Don't worry, we'll give you a bit of a spray around here. So it's pretty important once you try a new cologne that you let it sit on you for a little while. It's very well having the initial smell of the piece of paper, but this cologne is going to be sitting on you. It's going to stay with you. It's going to soak in on whatever you're wearing. So you want to make sure that there's an even distribution of sprays, like so. And then it's all going to rest on you. So we're going to let that rest for a little bit before we clean the palette and your clothes, and then you can let me know what you think. So, yeah, that's quite a prominent smell there for you. Perhaps you'd like to give this a smell. And a special formulation of mine. This is just going to neutralize your clothes there. So you don't need to tell me what you thought of that perfume just yet. You can keep the thoughts to yourself, because I've no doubt they're probably not as interesting as mine, so I don't blame you. Right, so I think you're feeling nice and neutral there, and you smell very neutral there as well. So I have another cologne with me here. So this has quite a bouncy taste, a scent to it, and I would recommend eating it. And this scent will probably stick on you for a little while, and as you move around it creates quite the trail behind you. It's a little bit of a head turner. It's something which I think someone like you, who wishes to of course be someone like me, would want and would probably benefit from. You know, when you walk around and then perhaps someone turns around and looks at you. You don't have that? I have it all the time. Right, so perhaps this could be quite well suited for you. So I'm just gonna spray some first, actually. And there we go. Perhaps you'd like to let me know what you think of that. And of course, do you approve of that smell? Of course you did, because I chose it, so therefore it must be pretty perfect already. So I'm just going to spray this a little bit around you here. So, you smell that? It certainly does leave the trail behind. There's a general aroma around you, which I think is pretty clear that it's quite well suited for you. I noticed that you're probably finding this whole experience quite relaxing, so if you feel the need to drop off and fall asleep, I don't blame you. It can be very relaxing in there, sometimes trying on perfume, so I won't hold it against you. Allow that to sit with you for a little bit. I'm just going to look at myself in the mirror here for a little while. Yeah, right, and how is that one there for you? Really? You like it? Well, that is good to hear. Well, there isn't too much time to like it because we're just kind of neutralized now. So there is a new perfume here. This cologne is quite a delicate touch. It is not for the light-hearted, those who perhaps are not used to these sorts of scents, and a very professional and very well made perfume, might I add, because I of course made it. We've gone through 2 colognes there at the moment, and these have specific names. We have Me 1 and Me 2. No, not you two. I don't mean you as well. I mean me with the number 2. So in this one we have Me 3. Right. So how about we get that sprayed there for you? A little bit of paper here. That's quite an interesting smell to it, does it not? Yes, and what are the tones and hints of the cologne you're getting there? What scents are coming through your palette? Remember, everybody's palette is different. However, I always use mine to gauge it upon because mine is the best and better than everybody else's. Hence, you could have a specific sort of talent for these sorts of things, and that's what I very much possess, along with many other talents. This certainly is one which I'll excel at. So if you could try to attempt to let me know what you think is that you're smelling there at the moment. It kind of is a tropical, maybe Caribbean smell to it, with some subtle hints of coconut, but a little bit of mango-y sandalwood sort of scent to it. Indeed, well, you're somewhat close. I've managed to formulate a scent which carries a lot of those attributes. There's a sort of holiday-esque element to it. It is quite personal, it's quite refreshing, but it carries the cool, subtle scent of summer, a summer sunset. Do you see what I mean? Well, with this Me 3 scent, I assure you that you won't find a scent which pleases you as much as this one would. It is incredibly relaxing to wear, so just allow that to evenly spread over you there and let it do its thing. I'm just going to neutralize that there for you. Great, great, great. So I think that smell has certainly been neutralized there for you. So there is a scent here which I think could be quite the match for you. So this is a very unique scent. Would you profess yourself to be a mildly confident person such as myself? So you know the type of person when you walk around anywhere and you just know in your head that you're the best. So perhaps you're talking to someone and you're not listening to what they're saying because you know that you are the best. So yes, I have many sort of attributes such as that. It's self-reaffirming, and of course it's the element of appreciation of oneself. Well, I've created a scent to carry that through there as well. It's a scent to remind you of how amazing you are. This scent has all the finest ingredients in there, mixed in, highly expensive, highly professional, highly relaxing, and of course has a lot of self-preservation put in there as well. So let me spray that on there for you. Initial thoughts there. Indeed, it is certainly a unique smell. Let us get you an even spread there. Let me know what you really think of it. My goodness, I am rather incredible. When you wear a scent like that, then you certainly know you are the business. So if you fancy a cologne like that, might I suggest that you carry yourself in a way that that scent is carried upon you. So confidence is key, and self-preservation is certainly encouraged. And what I mean by that is that you've got to make sure that everybody knows how amazing you are, and that cologne will certainly complement those attributes for you. Just a little tip. How's that there for you? Good. Neutralize. Excellent. You know, we get quite a lot of interest here in this perfume store. I can only imagine because it probably is filled with some of the finest perfumes and colognes and scents that you've ever tested. But not only that, we try to keep everything nice and pleasantly aesthetically pleasing, especially when it comes to looking at me. I am, of course, the piece de resistance when it comes to entering this perfume store, is that a lot of the customers, I'm sure, don't actually come here to look at the perfume, they come here to look at me. Be in my presence, I cannot blame them, and of course admire something new, something refreshing, something that heightens the experiences, the senses, something that makes you feel this good sense of warmth and comfort, something that you could feel like, that's gorgeous, or perhaps you just feel like, wow, what a masterpiece. And then of course, to finish it all off, you can buy some perfume. So I have some very interesting scents here which might take your fancy. We've got two more here. So we had Me 1, Me 2, Me 3 and Me 4. Me 5 is rather magical, so do let me know what you think of this one. I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised. I'll just try to stand back a little bit so you don't get distracted. Let's even out the spread here. Spectacular. It certainly has a unique scent to it. What you've got to feel like with Me 5 is that when you put something on like that, you've got to know that perhaps it was made by someone with extraordinary talent, someone who professes himself to be humble in nature, but contained within is this talent for perfume making, which has been made so perfectly and perfected in a way that no other perfumer can do. You know that whatever you're wearing is of the highest class possible. That's what that perfume does there for you. And I don't know if you've got the sense there as well. There's a very sort of seascape elements to it. So a secret ingredient which I pulled from certain ingredients, from like seaweed, for example. It gives it a little bit of an edge with warm, subtle tones of, there's like a sort of cinnamon-esque to it. Things like that. It's quite a different selection, but creates this very nice tone, this very expensive sense to it. I must say that it's pretty obvious that I've already found the right perfume and cologne here for you. That much is clear. However, it's more so of which ones you want to get. You're right. So we have one more here, which I think we should test out here. So let's give this little spray here, a little spray there. Okay, we're just, and again here. going to give you a spray around here as well. So allow it to sit. Excellent. You've got the hang of it now. See that you're all nice and relaxed here too, which is even better to see. You know, I smell scents like that, and I cannot help being reminded of my own magnificence. It truly does bring out the very best of talents within me, which I have for making scents such as this. This really is one of the first class type of scents. You know, something which you would associate with royalty or something like that. Very expensive. Of course, it is very expensive, but something that you can wear, that people would walk past, they would look and they would know probably best not to talk to you because you're probably too perfect. So you've got to make sure you wear it at the right times. When you get the equal amount of people who wear this sort of perfume, then you know that you can talk to each other, if you see what I mean. So if you were in that perfume, you walked in here, I probably would have sussed you out and thought, well, there is someone who wears a perfume like that. To me, it's pretty obvious that you have the finest of taste, like myself. Now, I don't want to be, I don't know, presumptuous in any sort of way, nor big-headed. That's the very last thing I want to be. But I will say this, I know what a good perfume smells like. I know what a good perfume is and how it's being created, and if it's being created well. I know if it fits a certain individual such as yourself, and may I say that it certainly does fit you and suit you very well. And the perfumer who made that is exceptionally talented at his work. And might I say that I think we found the perfect fit for you with this perfume. It seems to encompass all of those things which I sussed you out when I walked in, because I've got such an amazing, great judge of character here as well. I noticed that you're very relaxed here at the moment, so I'm just going to keep it down a little bit for you. We're going to clear your palette, and then you can get to selecting the perfumes and scents and colognes that you want. I tell you what, I think it's quite obvious at this point that we have found something perfect for you, and I think there's more than one. The scent which I'm smelling, which is very neutral at the moment, but there's a subtle hint of some fine cologne which has made its way upon your person. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to offer you, whilst you just sit here, relax, take as much time you want, I'm going to offer you this very delightful perfume that has been conjured up here by my talented hands, and of course my good looks, which help when I make these perfumes. I'm able to see myself in the mirror and know what sort of perfume and cologne I should make. And I'm going to give you a little bit for you just to ponder, think about what you want, those scents, if you want me 1, me 2, me 3, me 4, me 5, me 6, or perhaps me 7. It goes up to me 100, but these are the latest ones and probably some of the best ones that you have tried. So I'm just going to spray you with a little bit of this. Perfection is something that you probably think when you look upon me, and your perfume does smell quite delightful there as well. So I'm just going to go over near to that mirror over there and just have a look around the shop, and most definitely not myself, or not for too long anyway. And you enjoy your perfumes and take as long as you need to decide what you want, if you want any at all. But if you want to relax more, we can relax more. If you want to try more, we'll try more. We'll do it all over again if you want to. But that decision is yours. I should just be over there. So for this moment in time, take care of yourself. Cheerio.